This old industry is making a comeback. Tobacco stocks may be controversial, but they could also be quite profitable. Philip Morris. Philip Morris is a surprisingly solid opportunity. Turning Point Brands. Turning Point offers an intriguing growth play in the tobacco field. British American Tobacco. British American is risky but offers a massive dividend. Let's dive in. Here are the three tempting tobacco stocks to buy as indulgence rates rise. Welcome to Timely Investment Research. When it comes to controversial publicly traded investments, few are as notorious as tobacco stocks. Of course, it wasn't always this way. Notably, the television series Mad Men reflected the cultural norms of the time, which in some ways celebrated smoking. Concerted efforts over the last several years have considerably dented smoking prevalence rates. However, the COVID-19 may have altered certain behaviors, including tobacco use. Notably, economic disruptions can also lift indulgences as a coping mechanism. Sociologically, there is evidence that smoking rates are on the rise again. Another element that keeps tobacco stocks relevant is the rise in vaporizers or e-cigarettes. These devices offer a cleaner, less odious profile, making the tobacco consumption process more acceptable in non-smoking circles. To be fair, it's not exactly the most wholesome arena. However, it can be quite intriguing for your portfolio. Here are some tobacco stocks to consider. Number 1. Philip Morris. One of the top names in tobacco stocks, Philip Morris features products sold in over 180 countries. Per its public profile, the most recognized and best-selling product under the corporate umbrella is Marlboro. Since the start of the year, Philip Morris stock dipped around 2%. While not necessarily encouraging, that's not the end of the story. Yes, some of the red ink is deserved based on the performance of the company's most recent earnings report. Data from Yahoo Finance reveals that the tobacco giant posted earnings per share of $1.36. However, analysts anticipated a print of $1.45. However, let's also consider that in the first through third quarters, Philip Morris averaged a positive earnings surprise of 5%. For fiscal 2024, experts believe that revenue will land at $37.17 billion. That would represent a 5.4% lift from last year's tally of $35.25 billion. And in 2025, they believe a top line of $39.56 billion is in order. If so, we'd be dealing with year-over-year growth of 6.4%. Lastly, Philip Morris features a moderate buy consensus view with an average price target of $101.94. It's one of the tobacco stocks to put on your watch list. Number 2. Turning Point Brands. If you're looking for a growth opportunity among tobacco stocks, Turning Point Brands could be an intriguing idea. It's not that Turning Point Brands doesn't pay a dividend. It does, but with a yield of only 0.95%, it's not exactly generous. On the other end of the scale, Philip Morris features a forward annual dividend yield of 5.53%. However, Turning Point enjoys the better capital gains potential. Since the start of the year, shares moved up 6%. Over the past 52 weeks, it gained over 34%. That's not bad at all, especially ranking among tobacco stocks. It's also doing its job in the financial performance department. In the most recent fourth quarter earnings print, Turning Point delivered earnings per share of 79 cents, handily beating the consensus view of 68 cents. It also beat per share profitability estimates between first quarter through third quarter. The average positive earnings surprise, try 30%. Now analysts anticipate a slowdown of growth, projecting only $382.6 million in sales. That compares poorly to last year's print of $405.39 million. Still, the experts also believe shares will hit $34, which implies 23% upside potential. Number 3. British American Tobacco. One of the top international tobacco stocks, British American Tobacco is the largest company in its field based on net sales. It has operations in around 180 countries. Further, it commands several popular brands, including Dunhill, Kent, Lucky Strike, Pall Mall, and Rothmans. Since the start of the year, British American Tobacco stock gained a bit more than 2%. Despite a solid start to the new year, British American represents one of the higher risk ideas. Over the past 52 weeks, shares have slipped more than 16%. And in the trailing 5 years, they're down more than 25%. To be fair, some of that stems from questions surrounding its recent financial performance. In fourth quarter, the company reported earnings per share of $2.45, missing the consensus target of $2.49. For revenue, it generated $17.34 billion against a target of $18.85 billion. Still, with tobacco use increasing in the US, demand could also be rising in other parts of the world. At this moment, no one covers British American Tobacco, though the last rating was a buy from Morgan Stanley. To sweeten the pot, British American offers a 9.46% dividend yield. Think about it. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Timely Investment Research. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit that bell icon to never miss an upload, and hey, don't forget to subscribe.